Let's Talk podcast.
Hey, you. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
The one feeling like you're just sprinting through life, juggling everything.
Racing those deadlines, barely catching your breath.
Exactly. Just pause for a second. Take a breath with us.
Yeah.
Because there's something really important I want to share, something I think we all kind of need to hear and really internalize.
Mm-hmm.
Life is short, undeniably. And, well, as far as we know, this is it, our one shot.
That's the core of it, really.
So, welcome. We're doing a deep dive today into something crucial. Life is short, how to spend it wisely.
And this isn't just your typical motivational talk.
No, not at all. Think of it more like a wake-up call, a shift in perspective.
Yeah, this confrontation with just how limited our time is.
It throws out that number, right, about the weeks.
Exactly. Roughly 4,000 weeks in an average lifetime. When you hear that, it's not some abstract idea anymore, is it?
No, it feels very contained.
Yeah.
Finite.
Suddenly, how you fill those weeks feels incredibly important, like massively significant.
It really is a jolt to the system. It moves it beyond just, oh, time flies, to something much more concrete.
Right.
And what I found really thought-provoking was this idea that we often waste time not on, like, actively bad things,
Not necessarily destructive stuff.
but on the unintentional things, the sort of default settings, the autopilot activities that just pile up without us even noticing.
That's such a key point from the source. It really pushes you to look at those daily habits, the things we barely think about.
Like the endless scrolling.
Yeah, or the constant worrying, or that feeling you need to compare yourself to everyone online.
Which in small doses maybe aren't terrible, but
But they add up, right? They can just consume huge chunks of those 4,000 weeks without really giving us back anything we genuinely value.
it makes you think about the opportunity cost, doesn't it? What else could we have been doing with all that time?
Totally. It's like we're just simmering along, not fully, in a
Yeah,
moment.
and then there's that classic human thing,
Yeah.
putting stuff off. Oh, I'll get to it later.
Always later. Starting that novel or taking that trip,
Mending that relationship, finally getting some rest. It's always later.
the source calls it a mirage, which is such a perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Because how often does later actually arrive?
Right. So often, later just becomes never.
And this forces us to confront that feeling many of us have, maybe subconsciously, that time is just endless, renewable.
But it's not, is it? The source is really clear. You don't earn time. You don't bank it. Nope.
It's spent
Mm.
continuously, and that account only ever goes down.
Oof, yeah.
So recognizing that shift from thinking we have abundance to knowing it's finite, that's critical for making better choices, more conscious ones.
Okay, so that leads us right to the heart of it. What does spending this time wisely actually mean?
Yeah, and crucially, the source stresses this isn't about some external scorecard.
Right. Not what society says or your family or what looks good online.
No, it has to be personal, deeply personal. It boils down to that question, what do you actually care about? Really, at your core.
I love that focus on self-awareness. And the source has this really powerful thought experiment, doesn't it? The 85th birthday thing.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Imagine you're there, 85 years old, listening to someone give a speech about your life.
What do you hope they're saying?
Exactly. And it contrasts those, like, surface achievements. Oh, they were always so busy. They answered every email. Look at their follower count with the deeper stuff. Did you make people feel loved? Did you follow your curiosity? Were you brave? Did you actually bring joy into the room?
That exercise just cuts through all of the noise, doesn't it? It makes you think about the essence of a life from the end, looking back.
Yeah. Will the headline be busy? Or will it be about connection and experience?
And the source is kind of gently nudging us, saying, okay, start living now like that person you hope to be described as then.
Rather than just reacting to whatever pressure is right in front of you today.
Exactly. Which connects directly to this idea of time as a trade-off. You can't do everything.
Every yes is a no somewhere else. It's unavoidable.
And the examples are so spot on, like saying yes to more overtime. Well, that's often a no to family time, right?
Or yes to scrolling endlessly is a no to maybe writing or painting or just thinking.
Or spending energy seeking approval from others might mean saying no to expressing who you really are.
It's about seeing the cost.
Yeah.
Every choice has one.
It seems so simple, but we forget the no that's attached to every yes.
Hmm.
And I love that saying the source shared. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives.
Oh, that's powerful. It's like a constant invitation to check in,
Yeah, are these small moments, these daily choices, actually building the life I want?
which kind of leads us naturally into questioning our culture's obsession with
Well,
productivity.
right. This constant drive to do more, be more efficient, measure our worth by how much we get done.
Busyness is a badge of honor. The source really challenges that.
And it asks us a great question. When do you really feel alive? Like truly engaged?
Is it ticking things off that endless to-do list? Which, okay, can feel satisfying for a second.
But is it the same as like laughing uncontrollably with friends or seeing an amazing sunset?
Or getting lost in creating something. Or just that feeling of connection with someone you love.
There's such a different quality to those moments, isn't there?
Absolutely. And the source says something like, presence is where the magic lives.
I love that. Shifting focus from what's next to what's now.
But he gives real practical ways to do that. Small things.
Like putting your phone away during dinner, actually away.
Yeah, or really listening when someone talks, not just waiting for your turn. Or even just, looking around and noticing things.
These little acts of just paying attention, they can make such a difference.
Definitely. Okay, so we need to touch on something that might feel a bit heavy, but the source argues it's vital for clarity.
Mortality.
Yeah, facing the fact that we're not here forever. Not to be morbid about it, but to use it.
Use it as a lens.
Exactly. A lens to see our choices more clearly. It connects to that old idea, right? Memento mori.
Remember, you must die.
Yeah. And the point isn't to be scared, but to use that knowledge to focus, to strip away the stuff that doesn't really matter.
It highlights what's truly significant when you know the time is limited.
The source even mentions Steve Jobs, how thinking about death helped him make big decisions.
Right, because it puts everything else in perspective. Fear, expectations.
It can actually be incredibly freeing, can't it? Knowing your time isn't infinite.
Yeah, it kind of gives you permission to be bolder, maybe. Stop waiting for the perfect time.
Stop settling and really embrace the moments we have.
So if we're aware time is short and we use that awareness, where does that lead us? What's central?
Well, the source argues it leads to love, fundamentally.
And that's love in a really broad sense, isn't it?
Totally. Loving people, obviously, but also loving ideas, loving the world, loving yourself.
And the point is that a life filled with that kind of love, even with all its messiness and imperfections,
It feels full. It feels rich. That's the argument.
even brings in that huge Harvard study, the one that's been going for decades.
The study of adult development, yeah. And what does it find? Consistently.
Meaningful relationships. That's the key to long-term happiness and health,
Way more than status or money or career success, it's the connections.
which really tells you where you should be putting your energy, doesn't it?
It does. The source really encourages actively cultivating those good relationships, spending time with people who lift you up,
Making the effort to show you care, being there for people.
practicing forgiveness, kindness, and crucially, not waiting to say the important things.
Don't put off those conversations, those expressions of how you feel.
Because those connections, they're like the foundation of a meaningful life.
Okay, but knowing what matters is one thing. Acting on it is another. The source talks about fear, right?
Oh, yeah. That gap between knowing what you want, the trip, the book, the conversation, and actually doing it because you're afraid.
So relatable.
And the source is really honest here. It says, look, the fear probably isn't just going to disappear.
You don't wait for the fear to go away.
No. Often, being courageous means doing it while you're scared, moving forward anyway.
And it makes that powerful point. Regret is so much worse than failure.
That really lands, doesn't it? Thinking back.
Yeah, you almost never regret trying something, even if it didn't work out perfectly.
But you do regret the chances you didn't take because fear held you back.
So the push is, just start. Take the first step.
Make the move, say the thing, take the leap. Don't wait for perfect conditions or for someone to tell you it's okay.
Now, counterbalancing that call to action, the source also talks about something else important. Slowing down.
Yeah, which might seem contradictory, but it's not. It's challenging that idea of life as a race.
Like, who can cram the most and the fastest?
Exactly. Instead, it's about being awake, being present while life is happening, not just rushing through it.
So finding ways to be intentionally slow,
Like taking a walk without headphones, maybe? Or just taking a few deep breaths during the day.
embracing silence sometimes, watching birds, cooking slowly.
Longer hugs. It suggests things like that. It's about shifting from striving to just Noticing.
Because you see so much more when you're not rushing past everything.
You really do. Okay, and finally, there's this really interesting take on legacy.
Yeah, it's not about the grand statue or the building named after you necessarily.
No, it reframes legacy as something happening right now, in the present.
It's how you live day to day. That's your real legacy.
How you treat the barista, how you laugh with your kids, whether you speak up for what's right.
How you show up for people, how you conduct yourself in just ordinary situations.
And it ends with this powerful idea.
Yeah.
Live like you matter. Because you do.
And people are watching you, learning how to live from you, whether you realize it or not.
Wow, yeah. So wrapping this all up, if we distill it down.
The core ideas for spending this short life wisely seem to be about what? Intention?
Definitely intention. Presence over constant pressure, prioritizing deep love and connection.
Acting bravely, even with fear, and finding power in slowing down sometimes.
And keeping that awareness of mortality, not in a dark way, but as a clarifying force.
Because, like the source says, life is short. That's the reality.
But it can be so damn beautiful if you're awake for it.
Yeah. So maybe the invitation for everyone listening is just to take a breath right now. Look around.
And maybe think about one small way you can start living just a little more on purpose today.
Don't just let this be an interesting idea you heard. If something resonated, do something.
Make that call. Quit that thing draining you. Start that project. Say that thing you need to say.
Because you only get one life.
Spend it wisely.